Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What happened to Douglas Murray, a guy that I used to like very much? I used to like him as I used to enjoy watching, for instance, Ben Shapiro. There was a time when I was listening to Ben Shapiro and I said, "Oh, this guy is smart, this guy is fast, and this guy is fact-based, statements. He was making his claims and he was supporting them with logic, and he was very coherent until after watching a little while I realized that he has two spots that he misses everything he had. That was Russia and Putin in one side, and the other one was whenever he was talking about Israel. These two subjects, he became illogic, he became not the one that he seems to be. Now I have Douglas Murray, and if you don't know who Douglas Murray is, I'm going to show you here. He is a British and English guy. He's homosexual. No, it doesn't matter, but I have to mention because I know they like to mention that because they always say, I identify as that, I'm this and that. Okay, now I make it for you, I do it for you, so it's easy. So here, this guy. Now, if maybe you're familiar with him, I watched him for some time. He's very logical, very clear, and so on. But now, as I said many times before, if you want to see someone's intellectual honesty, you ask him about what do you think happens between Israel and the Palestinians, and then you will figure out in a second or two how, I would say, intellectually honest that person is, because then they lose logic, they use fact-based argumentation or arguments and all that. Now, Douglas Murray is very clear, very logical, and he rarely I heard him attacking people, like ad hominem attack. Rarely, and usually he did it when he defended an attack. I haven't heard him attacking first, hey, you're ugly, stupid, and so on, because he's got some points that we can attack, and he would and then play the victim very hard. Remember, and he's a tolerant one. Now, I watched him had a little conversation with not a conversation. They didn't have a conversation. It was Norman Finkelstein. If you know Norman Finkelstein, Jesus Christ, with his book. Politically incorrect book, The Holocaust Industry, and I'm not going to get into that deeper. You go and look for yourself. And what happened between him and Alan Dershowitz. Some people say that Alan Dershowitz destroyed Finkelstein's career during that interview. Actually, Finkelstein destroyed Dershowitz in Democracy Now! Amy, I can't remember her last name, program. Watch that one. When Finkelstein accuses Dershowitz of plagiarism, and Dershowitz was a professor emeritus at Harvard. The other one was a guy who was trying to get a tenure as a professor, assistant professor at DePaul's University, which he didn't get a tenure because anyway, both of them are Jewish, so it was a brotherly fight. Now, what do we have here? We have Douglas Murray talking with this guy Cenk Uygur. I watched Cenk Uygur very rarely because I can't ingest his he's not, I don't know, I have two things. If I would be politically correct, I would say, well, he's not very consistent. Now, if I were Emil, I would say he's illogical and he's too passionate and he's too subjective. No, he is not. No. I listened to him because he had a debate at one time with Ben Shapiro. Both of them did relatively poor jobs in discussing and debating, but nevertheless, I watch this Cenk Uygur on a few occasions and I say, what the hell is going on here? Anyway, so he has this argument or conversation, debate at a weasel, and the weasel is, what's his name? Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan has Douglas Murray and Cenk right here, Cenk Uygur. And can you believe that, at least for my assessment, Cenk Uygur seemed more balanced, more decent, if you can believe that, than Douglas Murray. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if this is staged or not, because Douglas Murray can't be so bad. I will show you. I have about 3 or 4 short videos when Douglas Murray will talk about Israel, and he's going to make some, he thinks, arguments that he would not make for anybody else. I don't know what's going on with these guys. Is he under any kind of blackmail? He's got something that some people told him, we're going to release that and you need to behave. He's like a trigger. Or it's something deeper where he plays a game where he has to say certain things in order for us to see and hear how idiotic certain things are expressed. I don't know if that's what it is, because if he is honest in this one, this is the second time when I hear him when he spoke about Finkelstein, and he called Finkelstein a sociopath. Ad hominem attack from the first sentence. He said that Finkelstein is a sociopath. I never heard him saying like this regarding another person. That was a shock for me coming from Murray. And this is again another shock. He's going to attack Cenk first ad hominem attack. Not the other way as I expected. Not the other way. And actually Cenk releases his little blows at the end, but milder than Douglas Murray. Let me show you. They're going to talk about those 3 Israeli hostages that were shot by the Israel's military when they were coming out with a white flag and shirtless, and they got shot and killed. And see how Douglas Murray will argue that. I mean, you're gonna hear, and how he is going to change the subject. He's gonna dismiss it, and he's gonna dismiss it as it's just a child. People make mistakes. He wouldn't make the same argument for the Russians doing the same thing. I guarantee you that. Why? Because it seems like he has the same, how should I put it? As I said, intellectual dishonesty on these 2 subjects, or I don't know. Let's see. Right here. I'm going to start with this one, and it's talking about Israel and blah, 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 boop, boop, boop.
Can you imagine what it was like for the soldiers who, in that terrible moment, made the life-changing mistake?
So he is talking about the soldiers who were not the victims. He can you imagine what was for those soldiers? So he is actually trying to do to the soldiers who shot 3 innocent people. Can you imagine? They killed it by mistake, he says. He already determined that they did it by mistake. I don't know why they did it. It could be a mistake, even though it would be a mistake if someone comes with a white flag with shirtless. Hardly, but anyway.
Of shooting 3 people.
On that, why would they shoot anyone who was and waving an SOS flag? I mean, why would whoever they were, whether they were Israeli hostages or whether they thought they were Palestinians, why would anyone shoot?
Look at Douglas Murray's facial expression. Look at that expression when he has to talk about it. And when he was asked by this weasel, Piers Morgan, why would they do? Look how his face changes, and he's like, what the fuck am I going to say now? He turns, I think, fake at that point. But let me go back here so you can see the face change. Right here, you see his face? He's normal.
Who was shirtless and waving
right now.
SOS flag. I mean, why would whoever they were, whether they were Israeli hostages or whether they thought they were Palestinians, why would anyone shoot anyone who comes out like that? That's my point.
That'll be a matter for the inquiry into it.
The matter of the inquiry into it. That's it. So that I can't say why, but he said before that. Can you imagine? By mistake. And he's going to say that it was a mistake again.
But, look, it's hardly as if they'd have wanted to have done that.
How do you know that? How do you know that they hardly would have wanted to have done that? How do you know? You don't know their intention, do you? How do you know that? Isn't that something about the inquiry? Illogical. He's just trying to defend someone without knowing the facts. I mean, the facts are over there, but the intentions, he can't know that. He just assumes that they made a mistake, and it's horrible, as it is. That's not Douglas Murray that I know.
what this demonstrates is in this incredibly close conflict, heavily built up.
Again, he is again building, how do you call that, justification and arguments in the situation. As I sometimes say, yes, it's hard in a war, but you have to accept that was as it is. Sometimes, if you, let's say, commit a murder and it's by mistake, it's still a murder. You're still going to be indicted and convicted. Accidental murder. What can you do? So if he's trying to, very shameful.
Area, people coming out from all sides, firing, shooting, detonating. People make mistakes.
People make mistakes. It's true. He painted as it was, the situation. No, those three came straight. What are you talking about? But he, instead of saying, well, maybe they're criminals, maybe they did this because they liked it, you are not going to hear that. Everything you're going to hear, because the whole interview is about that. He's just defending something, like some people defend certain books that are undefendable. But anyway, they try, and some people believe them. So he's, again, mistake. They didn't want it. How the fuck it wasn't that an inquiry? Investigation? No.
They do. That's just a human reality of war, horrible as
it is, reality of war, right? So I wonder if his boyfriend or loved ones or whatever would happen, would they think the same? Well, it's just a reality of war. I hate, that's the word, I hate when I hear people, it's just collateral damage. If there would be their child having a wedding and bombarded by a smart American bomb in, let's say, Afghanistan, during the wedding, what would that senator whose child was blown up together about 50 more others say? That's just a matter of war, right, Murray? That's what he said. Now, if you have this mentality, do you think he's going to use the same reasoning with the Russians? No, he's not going to use that. I guarantee you that. I know how he thinks about that one, because he made a lot of statements about this kind of things. So anyway, this is one. So those guys is one. I'm going to go to the other how do you call them, excerpts or videos in the next, because I'm already in minute 12, 13. So I'm going to make maybe 2 more or 3 more videos to show you, so part 2 and part 3, how Douglas Murray just, I think, I think he has some more to say, but let's play the last part.
They do. That's just a human reality of war.
He closed his eyes. Did you see when he closed his eyes when he said that?
Horrible as it is. I don't think it shows in any way that Israel is prosecuting this war wrongly.
You hear? I don't think that shows in any way, not one way, in any, that is prosecuting this war wrongly. So he was the judge already. Okay? So this was, I think, not a good, I would say, presentation of the situation. I don't think this, whatever he said in 28, more than 20, let's say 35 seconds or 40 seconds that I played where he actually spoke, I don't think he made an intellectual, how should I put it, statement, hidden argument. I don't think so. Very disappointed. I'm going to make the other 2, I think 2 or 3. We'll find out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.